Hey everybody, how's it going? Let's talk about your home recording studio. It is a Sunday in small town Kansas. I'm out here at the studio build, and while I don't really have any designs to follow this build step by step because it's not me doing it, right? It's all a contract job, so I don't really have a whole lot of insights or expertise or anything to share. But the studio hit a really cool milestone, and I'm just excited, and I just wanted to kind of show it off. So you are currently sitting or standing outside of the future door to the studio. And we have some very rough framing that at least kind of illustrates the dimensions of what the studio is going to be. And I'm just so excited. This all happened, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago. And my first time in here, just seeing the true scale of what the room is going to be like, I'm just so excited. So I just wanted to share my excitement, my enthusiasm, and see if you might get a kick out of seeing the state of the studio as it is right now. Okay, I'll back up. And so they went ahead and framed the wall. So on this side of the wall, it's going to be a bedroom and a little bit of storage. There's another 2x6 on the floor over here that's marking out where the end wall is going to be. And another thing that's changed, we have a main floor now. So my studio has a ceiling. And it just kind of gives a little bit of perspective of how enormous this room is going to be, at least for just regular Joe Schmo homeowner like me. But it's just so darn cool to get to walk this space and kind of get an idea of how much room I'm going to have for drums, guitars, pedals, computer desk, acoustic treatment, all of this stuff. It's just so, my mind is just racing. I'm so excited. We do have this curious, since the studio is taller than the rest of the basement, so we've got this 2-foot ledge here. And to keep the dimensions of the room true, the back studio wall doesn't go all the way back to this wall. And so that leaves this kind of weird little space here. So there's going to be a wall here. Over here, there's going to be a bathroom and then like a utility room. And my wife and I have been talking like, what do we do? What do we do with that weird kind of wasted space? I know I'm going to need storage, but this is so narrow that, even putting a door in right here, it would be a very narrow door to kind of squeeze through. And then just having such a long, narrow thing, it wouldn't be very useful for like walk-in storage. But I don't know, any creative minds out there have any ideas about what to do with that once this side is walled in and this side over here is bathroom? This is just kind of dead space, and I'm a little curious what I can do with it. All right, what else? Yeah, so we're gonna have 2x6 walls, which will be nice for insulating and soundproofing and all that stuff. But here, let me set the other camera up and give you a little bit of perspective for how tall this room is. So you are basically flush with the interior of where that wall is going to be. And I'm maybe 4 feet away here, so perspective's a little skewed. So let's go take a walk to the back of the room. And hopefully my focus is agreeing with me here, but I think from this perspective, it looks like, yeah, you kind of get an idea of how just ridiculously tall this room is. The amount of cubic feet in here. I did the math, I've forgotten it, so I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I really have some very high hopes for how this room is going to sound, just for playback and mixing, but also just the reverberation for tracking. I'm looking forward to it so much. I'm having dreams every night about this being finished and being in this room. And I know with camera angles, just looking at the shot here, it still kind of skews exactly like how far apart we are right now. So that's a very big space, the length of the room. So I can kind of have sections of the room. I'm not doing the multiple room, like control room, isolation booth, and a live room. You know, being just a one-man band, that's just not a very good practical setup for me. Even though in the world of recording studios, that's typically the way it's done, because the rules, so to speak, you know, what is desirable for a live room is not necessarily what's desirable for a mixing room, like a critical listening room. But that is a compromise I am totally willing to make. And I think I'll have enough room in here to keep it lively enough for the reverberation to sound good for recording, tracking, and to have the reverberation be controlled enough for it to still sound good for critical listening and mixing. So as far as I envision it, like this is kind of the front of the room. This would be where my desk and speakers and all my gear and everything would be here. I have enough leeway that I'll be able to, for the first time, the first studio, a home studio that I've had, I'll have some flexibility of how far from the wall my speakers are. So I should be able to dial in a more balanced sound just through that very fundamental and basic and free way of adjustment. We'll have open area against the walls, might have, you know, guitar amps, you know, bass amps and things like that, guitars hanging on the wall, acoustic treatment and everything, and still have enough room back here for a drum set and all the microphones and cables and everything around the drum set that I won't have to trip over it and scoot stuff out of the way when I'm done tracking drums, and then, you know, drag stuff out when I want to play guitar, and then put it all away when I want to sit at the desk. And I think it's probably realistic to think that I could end up with a full band in here. If any of my buddies want to come and record a couple of tracks, I think that I could legitimately accommodate like a 4-piece band, and who knows, maybe a 5-piece if we kind of scooch in a little tight, and do kind of a live session. I think that would be a lot of fun. It's something I've never done, and because I've never had the room for it. But now having enough room, you know, there's going to be no closets in this room. It's just going to be a big rectangle, which I know acoustically speaking isn't ideal, but again, in a home studio was just another compromise to make, because the expense of getting fancy with the you know, pitching the walls in, pitching the ceiling in, you know, it just keeps adding more and more cost. And it's already insanely expensive just to get a big rectangle built, you know, 11 feet underground, or at least 11 feet below the floor above. And so what I'm hoping, at least at first, is to commandeer the bedroom, future bedroom. That's going to be unfinished space. We're not going to, again, just to help control costs, we're not finishing that area, at least not planning to at this point. Things are kind of fluid. Things change from day to day, week to week, month to month. So who knows? But that's going to have very tall ceilings. And my wife and I were joking it might make a fun, you know, like bunk bedroom. If we have buddies in town to come record or something, we have a place to sleep everybody. Because everybody knows a bunch of grown men love to sleep in bunk beds in the same room together. But I have a feeling that's going to be storage space, or maybe the space where you're sitting in right now, that weird little dead space. If I can figure out a way to make that some storage, just to hold all the cables and headphones and etc. and gear I'm not using and stuff to just keep out of the way, who knows? But anyways, I've just been so excited about this. I want to drag the camera gear and drag it all out here, set it up, and I got a new wireless system, so hopefully there's not as many audio dropouts this time recording out here as there were last time. I edited around what I could, but there were still a few of those dropouts made it into the into the final cut. Laying outside of the house are all of the roof trusses. So hopefully that means they're gonna get walls up upstairs here before too long, get the framing upstairs. And hopefully before too long end up with a roof on this place so it stops getting rained on. We do have we have power out here now. We've got a sump pump over here and one kind of back behind you. And this one is actually plugged in, and so finally we're able to you know, real time pump water out of here as it kind of fills up. And now with a roof over it, or at least a floor above, but it at least shields this from getting, and it's not gonna fill up like a swimming pool like it had been before. So baby steps, and this is a slow process, and that's another reason I haven't really been interested in doing this as kind of a step-by-step follow along with the build, because not a whole lot of exciting stuff happens very often. Getting these walls up, yeah, that was a few weeks ago. Getting the floor above, yeah, it was a few weeks ago. So it's kind of a slow process. It's happening in kind of baby steps. And this is just one small section of a larger house. So there's just simply not going to be a whole lot to share with you guys on a frequent basis. But this was such a cool milestone, just to be able to walk around and feel the space and feel the size of it, and really for the first time having that three-dimensional, like physical view of walking the space and feeling how it feels and feeling how the space feels. It just makes me so excited and so ready for this to continue. All right, well, thank you so much for coming along with me. Thanks for listening to me jabber on here for a little bit, share my excitement with you. I appreciate it. I think that's gonna do it for me this time, and we'll see you again next time. Hey, little buddy, are you doing okay? Is everything okay there? Oh, he's a goner. He's a goner. Sorry, Mr. Froggy.